Coming up on Sports Weekly, we will head up to the CIF State Track and Field Meet where Cajon's Seth Johnson was competing for a state title in the boys high jump. We got highlights of that one. Plus, we'll take you out to the Cajon Gridiron, and it's the annual spring game, the green versus gold game for the Cowboys as we get ready for the next football season. Plus, it's a busy time at Cajon High School. Their softball team coming off a CIF championship, now getting ready for the state playoffs. So we'll check in with the Cowgirls as well. And a little bit more football at the University of Redlands as the Bulldogs are getting set to host their summer camp series where a lot of the top players, high school players in the Inland Empire, will get some great exposure from Pac-12 schools and beyond. All that coming up on this edition of Sports Weekly on IEMG, and it starts right now. And what is up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Weekly on IEMG. I am your host, Pep Fernandez. We appreciate you tuning in each and every week here on IEMG. And make sure you subscribe to the IE Media Group YouTube channel. Now, in this segment, we've got some really cool stuff. We're going to talk some Cajon football at the annual spring game. But first things first, breaking news this past Saturday night. Let's take you up to the CIF State Track and Field Meet at Buchanan High School up in Clovis. And that's where we find Seth Johnson competing in the boys high jump event. Here on Saturday night in the finals, he clears 6'5", grabs the early lead, and then Seth Johnson on this leap right here clears 6'7", and that would be enough to win the CIF State Championship in the boys high jump. Congratulations to Seth Johnson. He is your state champion. In fact, he's the first boys state champion from Cajon since 1973. Jerry Herndon won the long jump back in 73, which was, more than 40 years ago. So congratulations to Seth Johnson, your state champion in the boys high jump. And we just had an interview with Seth last week here on Sports Weekly, so make sure you go back on the IE Media Group YouTube channel and find that interview with Seth. Now a state champion, and next up, going to the University of California, Berkeley. He's going to be competing for the Cal Golden Bears. All right, now let's pivot to high school football, and the fall season will be here before you even know it. So right now, what do we got? Well, we got spring football, and at Cajon High School, they had their annual spring football game, the green versus gold game, and a great chance to see no helmets or pads, but some football, offense versus defense, 11-on-11 for head coach Nick Rogers and the guys who have won 5 consecutive Citrus Belt League titles. So they are on a roll. They are the team to beat in the CBL. Now, they lost some really good players, especially on offense. Running back Freddie Fletcher, Ethan Powell, the receiver, and head coach Nick Rogers, as you're about to hear in our interview with him, they lost a lot of starting players on offense and defense, but they've got a lot of young up-and-coming talent. In fact, he says this team might be extremely deep on both sides of the football, but we're going to need some new stars to emerge with, again, a lot of new starters on both sides of the football if the Cowboys can win 6 straight CBL titles this upcoming season. So let's check in with head coach Nick Rogers talking about the spring game and how the team's looking and his expectations for these guys as they get ready to crack open the 2022 season, which is right around the corner. Week 0 is August 19th, I believe. Here's head coach Nick Rogers.
All right, we're out here at Cajon High School just after the annual spring football game. No helmets, no pads, but close to football. Nick Rogers, the head football coach for the Cowboys. Coach, coming out of the spring game, do you feel more confident about your team going into the summer?
We got a lot of young guys that haven't had a lot of experience. We graduated 9 of 11 on defense and about 85% of our offense. But coming in, we got a lot of depth, especially in the skill positions. Kids, it's competitive. They're getting after it every day. So the competition hopefully leads to a lot of success on the field.
You just mentioned, missing some skill guys. I'm thinking of Powell and Freddie Fletcher running back. Where are some of the holes that you need to fill for this upcoming fall season?
Well, like I said, our whole defense pretty much is gone. We return one D lineman and a guy in the secondary. So, there's as much man coverage and pressure as we created last year defensively. Those things, those corners, finding those guys. We do got a few guys with some long, rangy arms and can move. So we're excited to see what they can do. Offensively, obviously, how do you replace Freddie Fletcher? He's been a 4-year starter for us. League MVP last couple of years, and so that part will be tough. And what Ethan Powell did both sides of the football, you can't replace that either. So hopefully collectively we'll add up the numbers and see if we get the guys that can sit there and have the same production rate for them.
So in this spring game, do you put a lot of value? Do you put a lot of weight on what happened during this game, or is it just a good time for the guys to run around and compete a little bit?
Yeah, it's just a good time to run around and compete. This isn't real football. They don't have gear on. They don't have, obviously the techniques for a lot of the linemen, they're a little scared to put their faces in there and things like that, which we get. But it's just time to kind of get out, see them compete against each other, have some fun. But yeah, it's still not real football. We'll wait till we have gear on.
I think it was Coach Batten over there talking about the fact that you guys got a lot of numbers. You got some depth. Maybe that's not something you've enjoyed maybe the last couple of years. Is this year's team a little bit different in terms of having just good numbers and having guys as backups who you could stick in as starters and feel pretty good about?
Yeah, well, we got part of it is kind of the unknown. We knew what we had with these guys coming back. They've been 4-year starter, 3-year starters for us the last few years. So we knew what we had. Obviously, with the COVID, we had low numbers then, and then coming back first year out, our numbers were still a little down. So to get kind of back up into the 120, 130 for JV and varsity right now, pretty excited about that. And like I said, it led to a fun, competitive spring game for these kids.
Finally, Coach, 5 consecutive Citrus Belt League championships. What do you think you guys need to maybe improve on, get better throughout the summer and fall training camp? And I guess it's twofold. What do you guys need to improve on, and where maybe is the strengths on this year's team that you can build on to try to make it 6 in a row?
Yeah, well, one thing is we'll find out the kind of leadership we got here. We got a lot of kids that haven't played football yet for us, so it's a chance for them to see, to step into that role as a leader. So that's definitely something we're working on to improve, finding those kids. And then, like I said, trying to replace these kids. You can't replace them, so hopefully you just try to get enough guys in there to get enough reps that they can do something for us. So.
All right, that's Cajon head coach Nick Rogers following the big annual spring football game here at Cajon.
Well, football season will be here before you know it, and can't wait for Sports Weekly Live again on Friday nights with all your high school football scores and highlights in the fall. And again, week 0 will be, I think it's August 19th is that first Friday night. And one other quick local football note. This is always exciting when we see local players get scholarships, right, to go on to college and continue their education. Eric Moses at Indian Springs, the basketball star turned football player, turned into a great receiver for head coach Chris Chaddick and Gary Hedlund in the Coyotes. And he's got a scholarship to Arizona Christian University. So congratulations to Eric Moses continuing his football career at the college level, and one of many Indian Springs players now getting scholarships to the next level. So congratulations to Eric Moses and the Indian Springs football program. All right, when we come back here on Sports Weekly on IEMG, yes, it's a very busy time at Cajon High School. We had Seth Johnson, state champion in the boys high jump. We have the softball team, CIF champions, and now going to the state playoffs. So there's a lot going on. When we come back, we will check in with the Cowgirls softball team, talking about that CIF title, but also looking ahead to the SoCal Regional. We'll be right back here on Sports Weekly on IEMG.